Hey everyone, it's Joe Glines here in Dallas, Texas.
Yeah, and Jackie Sztuk here from Copenhagen, Denmark.
So I'm laughing because I'm looking at my screen and I haven't shared it yet. But we were doing a test to do a live feed on Facebook just because we're cool, right? Honestly, so it for me, I don't want to be a dinosaur, right? I want to stay learning and doing new stuff. So maybe we'll try maybe a webinar, Jackie. You think maybe at some point?
Yeah,
Uh,
live on Facebook, live on YouTube, who knows?
yeah, or YouTube, yeah. So anyway, I'm gonna move that. Well, actually, let me go ahead and share the screen. Share the screen, which you'll see. This is the group here, so it is a little. But I'm gonna move it out of the way. So, because I wanted to discuss this email I got back from CyberU, which is an online course, place kind of like Udemy. They have their own customers, and so you can submit courses to them, and they'll. I actually don't know for certain if they sell them to their customers or the customers buy them, or how the money works. I have a virtual assistant where she's just putting them up there for me, and I haven't really paid attention to it. But I got this reply back, and I thought it was quite comical. Well, comical, sad. I'm not sure how to interpret it. But basically, Jackie and I were both reading it here, and she was being nice, giving us a background of saying basically they have they focus their library of content to corporate customers in a program called CyberU Enterprise. Great. Due to our focus on companies and their employees, our content typically centers around business-focused topics that are recorded in a production studio. So even though she didn't say it to me, I'm like, well, I'm guessing she thinks my courses weren't a good enough quality, which honestly, she could have just said that to me. I don't care, right? I don't get offended. I'm like, whatever. All right. But Jackie, this is why I thought it was an interesting, point is like, I do feel like writing her back and saying, you realize like RPA is one of the biggest growing industries, right now. And especially even during COVID, it's so much more, a hot button to be able to be more efficient with your employees. Like Jackie and I mean, we both are strong evangelists for learning AutoHotkey, and that everyone should be picking it up and being more efficient. I think she's doing a disservice to their clients, and I don't know if she just doesn't get it, or again, it could be that maybe I'm not doing a good enough quality, which that's fine.
Yeah, yeah. Was it your AutoHotkey beginner course you sent, or?
I don't know, and I don't want to scroll on here. I think it was I don't know.
Yeah, it probably doesn't matter. It could have been your the
Well,
hot string one or whatever,
well,
but
but to be fair, Jackie, it does matter on that one because I went back and listened like to our hot string course, and with me more doing the talking, you help with the layout and everything, but it wasn't good, right? The quality of it and stuff, I was organized and I didn't have it as well planned out. So honestly, after listening to all these podcasts on creating courses, that's what everyone says. Your first couple courses, it's not that they suck, but boy, you learn a lot from them. And so like my intermediate one was even better than my intro one, and my intro one was far better than the one with the hot strings.
yeah, I get that. But yeah, to me, when reading this paragraph a few times, um, it depending on which course it was. One thing is if she focused on the quality, and sure enough, depending on whatever else was in the message sent to her, um, there could have been another focus. You could have just been willing to provide courses for CyberU in general, and could maybe have been open to do more business focused topics.
right.
But this email that you had here kind of closes
Yeah.
that down, right? It's
Yeah.
like we're not really interested in what you're doing. So
it was the intro to AutoHotkey course. This is the one that actually, and this is where I am confused, because I'm like, apparently it is ready to be published, but maybe not in that, what did she call the enterprise? Maybe they have a different area for it.
Yeah, I think from reading this, they say that they will offer it on their website, but their business is not really focusing on spreading the word about their website. It's more a
Yeah,
door-to-door business sales thing where they go to businesses and try to
yeah,
sell their CyberU enterprise package or
yeah,
library. So it's probably what she's trying to tell you, that
right,
when you're not included in the CyberU enterprise library,
right.
your chances of
Yeah,
actually,
you're on the bookshelf. Yeah,
yeah,
someone has to stroll by and find you. Yeah,
yeah.
that's a good call. So anyway, and it's funny because in that one, it's I actually included those when I made the 2.5 hours, of the extraction from the course and put it on YouTube. Parts of that I included in there was my whole intro into what the RPA, industry is, how AutoHotkey fits in with the what is it in the two ends, with the AI in the one end, and
Hmm.
basically AutoHotkey at the other end, with
Yeah.
assisted versus unassisted, and the structure of the data, is in the AI side, it's crazy, versus on the AutoHotkey side, it's very structured and clear in the processes and stuff. So, and maybe that's also why is that's not interesting to their business people, but it helps explain, where the whole industry is and how this fits into there. But yeah, it's, for what it's worth, right? It did it's sad,
Def
because again, I want to get more people learning, well, whether it's AutoHotkey or whatever tool, right? I want them to level up and use computers better, work smarter, not harder.
Yeah, I don't know CyberU, and therefore I don't know any of their courses and stuff. But again, to me, it also sounds like it's business-focused topics that are recorded in a production studio, where to me it sounds more like whiteboard explainer videos,
Mm-hmm.
like um, stuff. I can't know because I don't know CyberU, but to
Right.
me, it's what I'm reading out of the text. It's like she would love someone in a suit to stand there and say,
Right.
and when people come in the morning, if their ties are skewered, they probably had a hard morning, whatever. Who knows what courses could be about, right? But yeah.
Yeah, and the other thing, which I didn't go look, but CyberU was the name, the fact Cyber was in it, because I got a list of about 20 places where you can upload your courses and try to sell them. And that was also why I hired a VA, because I'm like, I don't have time to be uploading these courses everywhere. But I'm like, CyberU, that sounds like they're probably going to be interested, more so in programming compared to other channels. That there were some on um, like basket weaving, what I mean, like arts,
Mm-hmm.
hobbies. And I'm like, yeah, that my course won't, I don't need to try to sell it there. It won't happen. Um,
Yeah, and at the same time, CyberU is to me kind of like, we want to be your online university or whatever it is, right? It's very weird. I did see at one point it was an American university that uploads lectures in coding and programming and stuff, where all it is it's just a recording of a professor or whatever doing Blackboard explaining quite extensively and long, and it's fair enough. It's what it is. But something like this, where she's asking for stuff made in a production studio, it to me it just doesn't really sound like screen recording.
right.
Right?
Oh, okay. Oh, I understand your point. Yeah, it's more of a lecture kind of
Yeah.
thing. Yeah, I get it. Yeah, it could be very well. And I, I probably still, here's one of the best things advice I can give anybody listening to this, is, um, you know, reply with a time delay, you know, when you get an email and you get fired up, you can go ahead and even write out your answer. And if you're good about it, write it out. And not worry, you can even hit reply and write it out. I kind of discourage that because you might accidentally send it even though you didn't mean to. But what I'll often do when I get really fired up is I'll hit reply and I'll type that snappy mean thing, but I don't send it. I get it helps me vent and I get it out, and then I stop, and then I'll come back to it a couple hours later or even a day later, depending on how elevated I got. And suddenly time is such a great way to help you cool your jets. And I can now I can read this and laugh about when I first read it. I really felt like writing something back of a pithy reply. And now I'm just gonna say that's interesting. I really would like clarification on part of this. And FYI, like the RPA industry, like maybe I'll do like a Google Trends and show like where it's going and how important it is. And I mean, for me, the big one is I'm like, you're talking to someone who worked in corporate America for almost 20 years. Trust me, these people, employees at corporate America would love to have this skill set. And more importantly, their bosses would love their employees to have this skill set. But hey, if again, to Jackie's point, like, why you're turning me down, that's fine too. If it's still not your thing, it's just, I wonder if they're missing that.
Yeah, and again, it's hard to really determine off this, because if I would read CyberU, I would, as you did, expect them to probably be open to software related topics. But every time I keep reading this paragraph here, due to our focus on companies and their employees, to me, that becomes kind of a soft thing where they're more focused on the company and their employee relations. And our content typically centers around business-focused topics. Again, RPA, totally a business-focused topic, but it's probably a topic about running a business more than it's about how to do a specific thing within your business. Or that's my guess, right? It's perhaps so.
Yeah. So I if I'm understanding you correctly, Jackie, there could be two alternatives that I could, if I cared to come back with. Option A is to come back and say, well, what if I taught the business implications of RPA and how strategically you could implement it and like that kind of stuff, and lectured it, right? Instead of doing it on the screen share stuff. The other one would be more of an actual real tactical, applying it with, like I think you mentioned earlier on, like an Excel, how to automate Excel type of thing, right? An actual program, right? And that might be more in line with them, depending, of course, on why her comments about the production studio, exactly where they were going there with that, or if it's the business focused topics, because that's a little strange.
Yeah, to me it's weirdly worded, but it's just it doesn't really tell you much within that text. So
all right, well, I think that's a good way to stop here. Of let's have a little laugh at my expense, which I'm fine, right? It's funny, and it's a good learning experience too, right? Is not everyone, I mean, hey, we get married for a reason, right? You find a good fit, and not every company you go to do work with is gonna be the right fit, right? And don't take things personally, right? That's another big thing, right? It's
good.
Awesome. All right, man. It was good talking.
Absolutely. Yeah. Great.
Bye.
Bye.